had that Jewish speaker come and talk at our school, and we have his book here.
We did. I think we had to order the second one just to make sure we had both of them.
Yeah, we had some people check them out. We also got a lot of donations from the Jewish Family Alliance.
We did, and we put those in the system. We have some of them on book displays, I think down in the pit too, just to let students know that they are there, that we're trying to also
display the works, yeah.
Yeah, and also hopefully show some support.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
First, middle, and last, my name is Annabelle Hope Mass.
My name is Charlotte Elizabeth Newman.
Davis Bennett Marks.
Edie Serena Cohen. My name is Illy Cry.
My name is Evan Griffin Krothheimer.
Isadora Petra Kashper.
Jacob Matthew Lutsky.
Jacob Lancer.
Max Elliott Desner.
Morgan Jacob Brooks Beckerman.
Samuel Joseph Glassman.
Sarah Morgan Brown.
Savannah Mashian.
Wilson Stephen Fetterman.
I'm Reformed.
I'm a conservative Jew.
A Reformed Jew.
I attend a Reconstructionist temple.
I'm a Reformed Ashkenazi Jew.
Oh, I'm pretty much, not really religious.
I am Reformed Ashkenazi Jewish.
My family and I belong to a Reconstructionist synagogue.
Semi-Reformed.
I'm Reformed Jewish. I'm also Ashkenazi.
I would consider myself ethnically and culturally Jewish, although I do not believe in God. Reformed.
My family is Reformed Jewish, although we go to temple twice a year.
I'd say I'm in between Reform and conservative.
I'm a Reform Sephardic Jew.
I think a stereotypical Jew is big nose.
The quintessential big nose.
And a big nose.
Like a Jewish nose, as people would say.
Big nose.
A big nose.
They're big noses and probably a big nose.
The long nose.
And they talk about the nose a lot.
Big nose.
You've got the nose.
Maybe a little bit bigger of a nose.
A bigger nose.
Big nose.
I think the big nose one is the most prominent.
Dark brown hair.
Probably dark, curly hair.
Curly, dark hair.
Curly hair for sure.
Some of them have a Jew fro.
Being short and beady-eyed.
Curly hair.
Good-looking Jew, nice jawline, smooth, nice figured nose, wavy hair.
Rocking back and forth.
Hey man, you know what? It's an emotional semi-moderate nose, nice jawline.
Bad teeth, black hair.
A little bit hairy if you're a guy, maybe even a girl, who knows.
But some kind of curly hair.
Since there are so many different types of Jews, I think that you could have a Persian Jew that stereotypically has darker skin and dark hair.
Not blonde, usually. Hairier than the normal person.
It's curly hair especially.
I don't like saying these stereotypes, but this is what people think of.
I feel I have some features of me that are Jewish, I feel the dark hair, the dark eyes, short, but I don't have the nose I feel people usually associate to Jewish people.
I think so, especially with my facial features, because I have dark eyebrows and I have dark eyes, and when I was younger growing up, I had very, very curly hair.
I've been told I look Jewish, but I'm not sure if I fit the stereotype you see in the media or online. My hair is semi-curly, so I guess that fits, but I don't really know.
I guess I have a unique nose. I have the curly hair. Yeah.
I look like such a stereotypical Jew, yes.
Yes, because of my nose mostly.
People who know what Jews look like know I'm Jewish, but people who don't, if that makes sense. I think I have dark curly hair. Jewish women are usually not super skinny because they're made to bear 6 children. So I think I fit into that category. I don't think I look like a stereotypical Jew, but that's mostly because the media has kind of perceived Jews as solely to be Ashkenazi Jews, white, and I am a more ethnic Jew, I would say. So I think that contributes to me not really looking like a Jew.
I do not. I have blonde hair, and I think the only really Jewishly stereotypical thing about me is my nose.
Yeah, I have the nose. I sort of have the hair. Yeah.
I have blue eyes.
I got the nose to a mild extent. I would say my hair is not very Jewish because it's more straight.
Not necessarily, because growing up, not that it's a bad thing, but growing up I always had extremely blonde hair, very light, and that's not something that people think of when they think of a Jewish person. But I also like the blue eyes. I don't know. It's just I don't feel like I do, although some people might say I do.
I am kind of hairy.
I don't think necessarily. I think I have a relatively big nose. My hair is like Jewish, I guess.
I think there's stereotypes about Jewish men being like weak or being like mama's boys. There's a stereotype that Jewish women are bossy and loud.
There's a lot of Jewish doctors and lawyers.
Doctors,
Jews like controlling the media and like entertainment.
banking.
I definitely hear a lot of money stereotypes, you know.
Controlling like the banks, like Jewish greed and stuff like that.
Jews are like rich.
Jews crave money and always work in like the bank or things like that, or like, you know, they like own the media, they run Hollywood.
Like penny pinchers.
You know, super greedy, money driven.
Morgan, what job field do you want to go into?
I want to be an investment banker. Yeah.
I met someone in Spain who, when I told them I was Jewish, they were like, oh my God, you don't have horns. So maybe that as well.
They aren't usually like people you want to be friends with, at least that's how it's portrayed in media.
I think there's definitely a lot of inherent bias about Jewish people. Like, people hear when they're young, oh, Jewish people have money or something like that, and then that's just something they think to be true, even though it's not.
J.K. Rowling, you know, Harry Potter.
Those goblins from Harry Potter, they're like, those were meant to be the Jews.
The goblins are portrayed as like stereotypical Jews with their like big noses and like eyes and stuff like that.
Jews are like often like comedic characters. I think a lot of times Jews aren't portrayed as the most attractive people.
The anxious Jew, I think, is like something that's present, especially in, I think a lot of times it doesn't come out as like a purposeful thing, but they'll identify a character as Jewish and then that'll seep into it.
I feel like a lot of the times Jews are portrayed as having like a New York City accent, which I mean, I don't think that's like positive or negative, but I think that's how a lot of people view Jews.
They kind of seem to match those classic stereotypes really well. A lot of the times they're the one-liner sidekick who provides comedic relief, or other times they're like the father figure who like starts off super cold but then kind of grows on you as like the TV series progresses.
There's been like an uptick in anti-Semitism, like anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. So like, I know I was at the Grove and like I saw a lot of like anti-Semitic like slips on cars and stuff that like had all this rambling about like the final solution and stuff like that. And then just like scrolling through TikTok, Twitter, there's definitely been like an uptick in anti-Semitic conspiracy theories.
Like cartoon villains have like the Jewish nose a lot of times.
One of them happens to be like the kind rabbi dad stereotype. You've got that, where he gives wise advice to the young Jewish male protagonist. You've got the nebbishy Jewish comedic relief guy who's like makes like observational humor with like, you know, stuff like that, maybe one-liners here and there. Then you've got the businessman cunning Jew who's like normally kind of like a bad guy, but he's like very smart and cunning and makes a lot of money, very greedy.
Jews are perceived as devils and bad people. And so I think that if people continue to listen to the media and perceive Jews how the media claims them to be, that more anti-Semitic acts are going to occur and are going to harm the lives of many, many Jews.
Even from like a young age, if you're seeing like this perception that all Jewish people are greedy and mean, and like, then it kind of like instills in people this idea that every Jewish person is like this.
I think it can like make it seem like Jews aren't attractive if they're being portrayed as like solely comedic relief or solely like workaholic characters rather than like love interests or more interesting dynamic characters.
I mean, I think people forget that there aren't that many Jews. Like, I think when you grow up in Los Angeles, and especially like Harvard-Westlake, you definitely think that there's this large like Jewish majority or just a big Jewish population, but like in actuality, like there aren't that many Jews in the world because of like this variety of factors. So I just think that this narrative or all these anti-Semitic conspiracy theories just really make people believe that there's more Jews than there are and that we have control over things, when in actuality Jews are a minority in the world and really even anywhere. But I definitely think people just believe that there's more of us and that we hold power somehow over others.
I think people tend to be more wary of us as if we have like an ulterior motive or we're trying to achieve something
people internalize what is said about Jews, even if it's not on purpose. They just kind of think that because this is how they're being portrayed, that that's the truth, and obviously it's not true.
When these like so-called positive stereotypes are perpetrated, especially in the media, it kind of regurgitates the same idea that happened during the Holocaust when Jews were kind of used as a scapegoat for economic recession or other things like that. It's really easy to blame a small vulnerable group, especially if they're known to be doing well. And so I think if people continue to say like, oh, Jews run the world because they do this, or they, like, for example, when Kanye talks about like most producers being Jewish, it's kind of like a century-old stereotype about Jews being conniving and greedy because they're successful. And obviously those things are not synonymous.
I feel like if you were to hear about a Jew from just stereotypes, you would not exactly want to associate yourself with them because they're like greedy and like money hungry and stuff like that.
I think that it sparks Jew hatred. I think that a lot of people that may be anti-Semitic aren't born with those ideas, and it's the community around them that fosters them. We've seen that at Harvard Westlake with recent events of anti-Semitism, and I think that it's, maybe an education problem.
Someone asks you, oh, you're Jewish, you must have a lot of money, right? Oh, you're Jewish, I can tell by your nose, or something like that. Like, these are all like negative stereotypes that I see and that I've heard about me.
I think like stereotypes of anybody, they can impact how people see each other. Like that's pretty much how people form stereotypes, is a lot of times from movies and from shows. So they reach a really wide audience, so they are able to like spread that stereotype a lot easier.
Well, I think if people like believe what they see on TV or they believe what they hear sometimes, they think that Jews are in control of everything and are like keeping other people down because they want to like make themselves better. And like I feel like when people like Kanye West are spreading these beliefs to like their wide variety of fans, it makes it a lot worse, and it can lead to anti-Semitic acts that have been happening like all over the country and the world. And even at Harvard Westlake, there have been multiple anti-Semitic things that have occurred, which I think is very scary. I think because the media perceives Jews to be villains and devils and things like that, that other people will just believe what the media says and will treat them as such, even though that's not even the case.
I think they're really impactful because I think people draw most of their stereotypes and beliefs from popular media, especially now in such like a social media age. And so I think they're really impactful in shaping the way people view Jewish people.
Okay, this is the very last one.
Okay.
So sorry.
No rush at all.
Do you want? No, I stole his microphone.
That's so
greedy. I did.
Yeah, I was gonna say, classic.
What the?